you are not going to hell. Simple as that. That's my feeler for you. That is what we're going to talk about today. That's what I need to, I really want, if I have this platform, I have this, I could get some of you guys you guys are interested in some of this. Some of you are all on this. Let me just please give you this reminder and put this in your head right now. You are not going to hell. The Bible says, have no fear. That's why somebody asked me this yesterday. I said, listen, man, people, you can view God like that. I don't know how you grew up or what you view it as or anything, but I said, my God's my homie like that. Like, it's not, it's different. Like, and there's love in the world. Like, I wouldn't want any of you guys to go broke and get hurt, even if some of you have said very, very mean things. Some of you have harassed me and just been overall very evil, but I would never wish harm on. When it's all said and done, I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to go in anything in that nature, and what it really just comes down to is understanding that love with it. Just like, you're not going to hell. And like, I don't know if I could say anything to you guys. I really think this one stuck with me yesterday for a reason. And like I said, it's probably going to piss some of you guys off, and I think maybe that's the problem, because, and that's why I have with like religion and just condemning people in general, because this message honestly would piss some people off. It would make people mad, or they would disagree. And let me just say, you're not going to go to hell. That's it. Like, I that's the blessing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to curse you and tell you you're going to do this and do that. But like and I think that's the problem is, like, again, I know some people in churches, whatever it may be, or other places, they'll like, no. Their view of God is very authoritarian. And I don't underestimate that. And that's what we're going to talk about, because obviously there is consequences to actions, and indeed the road is narrow. We've talked about that, but technically, when it's all said and done, I'm really talking to people who understand me right now. And this is what I meant for like the people who don't, like some of your guys' minds have already been made up. Like, when I even say you're not going to hell, I talk about all this, like, this is nonsense to you, and honestly, that's why I said earlier, like, I appreciate that you are here right now. You're still listening with love in your hearts for what we believe, what we do here, and all that. And I'm sure that those same people who don't even believe, hell, heaven, whatever it may be, I'm sure they're even smart enough to take accountability. That's why I'm saying, it's like, just because you're not going to hell, it's not this, there is consequences to actions. I hope, I'm not saying you're only going to have good things. And I think some of those people, they don't believe in heaven and hell. They're just rational human beings. And they've gotten to that point where they're like, yeah, there is accountability, there is this, but, and they're here for that, and that's probably why they make small, good decisions. They've realized, damn, there is consequences. I should start making these better decisions. So it's usually like this part about the part that they usually get caught up on is this guy, this all-loving ruler who picks and chooses who he's going to judge, and if you don't follow the rules. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, that's what gets them hung up on. And that's what I'm saying, regardless of any of that, you're not going to hell. You see what I'm saying? I think that concept has been misrepresented to so many people that, again, there is consequences. So I'm sharing this with you because this comes up a lot when I talk to people about it, and I hope you guys realize I'm thinking about all of you, whether you believe or not. I'm trying to see both sides here. I love listening to you guys. I love understanding you guys more and more, and that's where it's coming at. And that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, this was just a big change. Whether this is very, very practical, because whether you believe or not, whether you are just very intellectual, very spiritual, whatever it may be, this was enough to change my life, honestly. Because this concept of not going to hell, that's what like created a real shift in me when I was in my early 20s. And, college is when I really discovered, this when I really started taking the Bible seriously. I opened it up on my own. Nobody told me to do it. I wasn't at a church. It wasn't institutionalized. It wasn't indoctrinated in that sense. I was full blown. I was a frat boy. I was doing whatever I want. I was turning up. You have no idea. But at that point, when I kind of realized that I'm not going to hell, it kind of changed my view on kind of just ultimately bettering myself. because dude, I like that's what I've told you this story. Like, you know, my mom, you guys hear me talk about my mom a lot. Like, she's a perfect, like, oh my gosh, like, this lady is an angel. She sits around all day. She reads her Bible. She prays. Like, no exaggeration. That's all my mom does every single day. You know, she's never drank a sip of alcohol. She's never, you know, she's rebuked me so many times. She's never, you know, whether I've made money or not, regardless of personal success or anything, if that shit has been wrong, she'll say it, even down to my language to this day. You know, she's really like, just, yeah, like literally all day praying, all day just like actually worshiping God. And now that is why I didn't believe for most of my life, because to my mom's standard, to my family standard, to what I saw and what I learned about God through other people, again, religious institutions, all of that, if that was the standard, I realized I wasn't going to, I was like, I'm not going to heaven. You know, my parents even condemned me. So at a very young age, I said, well, screw all of this. If I'm not going to heaven, I've already lost out on that ticket. Turn up. I'm going to live my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what's the point of trying for something that is unattainable? That's it. That's literally what set off in my mind. So things have changed since then. And it had to do with understanding that concept that one day where just like I read it myself and it was easier than I thought. You know, this avoiding that eternal judgment is easier than I thought. You know, other people made it seem so much more unattainable to me, or they made it seem so much more different than what I liked, that was it. And it comes down to this, like, you know, eventually once I realized this, I wanted to have that shift of bettering myself. You know, it's when I started really getting to that moment where I like to do things that please my soul. Like, you know, you don't have to be religious to learn that in life. All of you are going to get to a point where you're going to get in life where you're going to notice the things that drain you. You're going to notice the things that build you up. A lot of this stuff tied in. It's like, you know, doing certain behavior, you know, partying all the time, not taking care of yourself, you know, living in the moment fully and not planning, you know, eventually your soul, you know, at one point we all have kind of that moment in life where it clicks for us, where we're like, damn, like this just doesn't make me feel the same. It doesn't make me feel good. Like I can't keep doing all this. So then it's like, you know, eventually that's why you don't do certain things anymore. Like you may like it, like honestly, like drinking is kind of fun. You know, I've said that, but like I don't like it because what it does, and it's just like eventually I like my soul being at peace. I like not waking up feeling bad, not doing stuff. It's not like, but again, like it's not like I'm viewing it from like a heaven perspective. It's not like I'm looking at it like I'm gonna get judged. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's anything on that. Like, so yeah, shout out to the drinkers. If you like it and you're at that stage in life where you haven't, you know, however it makes you feel that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. Like I got in one point when I started developing my mind and seeking more and more, just like things started changing for me. And that's where it was. It's just like once I realized I'm not going to hell, once I realized it's easier to better yourself than initially expected, and that I'm not condemned to eternal damnation, and that I can actually make a change, and that my efforts aren't wasted, then I started applying myself to stuff. And that's, you know, ultimately we all have a soul. You have that deep down. That's why people get anxiety. That's why people get depression. It's your damn soul. There's something in there, you know, and eventually different people, different things, different times, we've all kind of learned how to feed the soul, feed everything else, and all that stuff we talked about. So I don't know. It's just, the key was with everything, you know, people sent me messages. They said I wasn't going to go to heaven. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like seemed like self-betterment was unattainable. And whether they have been, you know, misguided in that effort, you know, some of them genuinely wanted to help me. People really want the best for you. I know some of you guys are really strong believers and you want the best for other people, but, you know, it's hard when you tell people that you're going to hell, you're getting judged. And I just firmly believe that like, I know so many people interested in talking about God and spirituality, and they go above and beyond it, but that's the part they don't like. And I think that part has just been so gravely misrepresented that I see it and I relate to it. And even for some of you, whatever this may mean, let me just say this again. Here's your reminder. I don't know, and please interpret this however you please, for real, because you're not going to hell. So I don't know what that means to some of you. Like, you know, I think it just needed to be said and reminded, you know, especially to the people new to this view of the world, more or less. Just even like as people, you know, learning how to trade, like just as people start learning how to trade and they don't understand things, it's the same thing. Some of you are getting into like certain stuff, you're thinking, you're getting into personal development, but this concept of judgment and condemnation, you know, even if you take God out of it, people will say the same thing about you in stocks. How many people say you're never gonna make a living off of this? You're never gonna make a living doing what you want. You're never gonna be able. No, you have to go to school. You got to do all of this stuff. It's the same exact thing, and that's where I just think we misrepresent it to a lot of people. With each other, we do it with many various things. We're always condemning people in that sense. And I just think it needs to be said like I said, take it however you want. You're not going to hell. I don't know how this has been impacting some of you who, you know, if you pretty much think your efforts are wasted, they're not. That's just the best way to put it. You know, because for me, I didn't want to be better if I knew the place I wanted to go or the end destination, this ideology. If it wasn't attainable, I wouldn't do it. There wasn't a hope for it. I really wouldn't do it. Honestly, like the long term, like some of you want to do the long term even more now because you see it. You know it's attainable now. When I'm saying $500 and $500,000, you're like, nah, that doesn't seem real. But eventually, when you start seeing it compound, you see what it does, you see what savings, you're like, wow, that's what it is. And that's what I think is going to get revealed to a lot of you in life, in business, and even spirituality is, you know, we need to have our hope, but at the same time, I encourage you to kill this spirit of condemnation, whether it's on yourself or other people. And if you do it to other people, it's easier to do to yourself. You know, it's hard to do something to other people that you don't do to yourself. Way harder to, you talk to yourself easier than you talk to a random stranger, you know, so. But at the end of the day, if you have never been exposed to this concept, you've never heard it, some of you hear what I say and different stuff. I don't know who you're around, what you're around, but at the end of the day, I hope you know, don't let it get misrepresented. If you believe what I say, you think I read this, I read the Bible. I put in my work on this. Like I want to give the message, you are not going to hell. That's it. That it's just not, this isn't some dude standing outside saying, oh, if you wear certain clothes, you're this, you're that. If you drink, you smoke, you do this, it's that. It's no. And I'm not one to tell you what to do with your life. I'm not here to say, oh, this is the consequences. The wages of sin is death. Like, I just think it is death of development. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. The wages of sin is death of development. I don't think it's how I wanted to develop for myself. That's it. When I started getting in all that stuff and it distracted me, it gets in my way. But all of you are going to find your own path. Like nothing will ever stop you. And I hope you know that. And that's why it's real love. And shout out to the other people in here who show love regardless. Again, pay attention now. This is why I give you these reminders. This is why we do Philo, is there is consequences. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to give you this to make you feel good. I'm not here to just tell you this. So like, I want you to just truly understand it is not as bad as you think. It's not like everybody's getting thrown by this invisible guy and his judge. And as somebody who has a good relationship with him, I'd like to think, if I could tell you anything, is that's not his main goal. And people misrepresent that a lot. And people will use that to their advantage a lot to manipulate people. It's crazy. But for you yourself, like, you have a lot. Like it's just love, you know. Like you're gonna go along in life and you'll see this. But I just want you guys kind of exposed to this concept, you know, just so you chill out, do your thing. But there's a lot more there's a lot more to this situation. But ultimately, it's about developing yourself, be the best you can. And like I said, there is consequences. Like, that's all. Like, you know, you guys get these reminders. I'm telling you this. It's so you could be the most excellent version of yourself. It's not for you to get judged. It's not for do this or anything. It's just simply, you know, understand that. And whether you are religious or not, like I'm saying, I know my intellectual people could do this. The people who you don't need to believe in God, you realized at one point in your life, like, yo, I got to get my shit together. Like, that's it. Like you said, like, damn, if I keep doing this, I'm going to get clapped. Simple as that. Like, I can't, oh man, I keep blowing up the option account. You don't need to believe in God to realize that. Oh, my credit sucks. You don't need to believe in God to realize that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's consequences to actions. Like, you know, I'm not going to be here to tell you, oh, you're going to get thrown in hell and this and that. Like, nah, like, smoke as much weed as you want, drink as much weed as you want, or alcohol, whatever. There's going to just be the consequences. It's for you to develop at that one point in life. One day you're going to wake up, and it's up to you to determine that. And you're going to, if you could deal with the consequences, then you deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It's not one to say you're eternally damned and this and that. That is between you and God. That's between you and whatever you believe. But at the end of the day, this is why practically I'm giving this to you so that you could understand there is a future, there is a hope. You are not eternally condemned to anything. That you know, when there's potential in a future, it opens up the opportunity for development. And I really encourage you to look towards that. And also in the same respect, it does boil down to consequences and actions, you know? It's simple as that. Consequences and actions are going to be key. And so focus on that. But now it's like, if you know you have more than damnation and you have more than what you thought it was, pretty much at the end of the day, now you know, like, hey, if I actually do have a future and hope, I could make good decisions. And small good decisions. And if I do that, the consequences of those will yield more than I initially expected. And then you will be able to value development and value what is good for you and good for your soul and what you like. You know what I'm saying? It's not me to tell you this is what it says and you're this and you're that and you must do this, because the same people who would tell you that, they would tell that to me. And I don't agree. And like, that's just not how it worked. Like, that's not how I got here. That's not why I believe what I believe. This isn't, you know, I don't rep God as like my best friend and homie for no reason. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I didn't get there through fear. I didn't get there through somebody telling me I was going to get clapped my whole life. You know what I'm saying? That's what I first learned it. And I didn't like that. It didn't stick with me. It didn't make sense. It discouraged me. So I hope you guys are encouraged to know that there's a lot more. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that, you know, don't condemn yourself with it. You're not going to hell. I don't know how this affected you, but at the same time, you know, if you know there's a better future that's going to be there for your development, you know, think about the actions that you make. Think about the consequences and proceed, you know, and just chill. And that's why too, you know, like you could show love. And again, I highly respect the people who do it. I highly respect the people who could take the message out of this to understand. And honestly, I don't know if it means anything, but I would love to apologize on behalf of, you know, anybody who's ever gave you that message that, yo, you're going to hell, you're this, you're that. Like, no, you could never enter the kingdom of God. Like, you know, let God point the finger, not a man. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'd say I don't know what it means to some of you, but that's just not what it was. Because, you know, I've had people do that to me, and I've seen what it was in many ways, both spiritually and in business. And I know a lot of you know how that feels business-wise when people tell you and people condemn you. When people say your business is going to hell, your idea is going to hell, it's not going to work, it's eternally damned. Like, you know what that feels like. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, some of you get motivated by it, and this isn't motivate. That's negative motivation. You know, I don't get motivated by people talking shit. Sometimes you can, but it's just more or less the real motivation is like, damn, like, you know, there is a possibility. My business, you know, people may say it's going to hell, but nah, like, there is actually hope. Like, yes, there's consequences to actions, but like, that's wrong. It is not eternal. That gives you hope. That's a different motivation. That's a different energy. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what it comes down to. And everybody's different. Some of you do get motivated off of different stuff. But all in all, I just want you to be encouraged, and I don't want you guys getting tripped up over small things, you know, and something like that. And people, you know, how people present it and all that. It's just, I think there's way bigger issues when it comes down to it. You know, I think you'll get to hell, like the hell talk, just go. There's other steps before that. And you know, that isn't going to be your motivation to better yourself. Or at least it wasn't for me. But I know personally in my life, when light bulbs started coming off and like, I was like, whoa, it was the minute I realized that, you know, what people said about me isn't true. The curses people have placed on me is not true. You know, people like, why do I believe what I believe? Why do I seek more? And then, you know, when I read it myself, it's like there's more to that. The people were wrong. And, you know, and I don't even want to call them wrong, maybe just misguided, you know, and that's what it comes down to. But the development that it led to is important. And whether you believe in God or not, the development is key. And that's what's really, really key here is so you guys develop. And that's why I encourage you to let go of any chains that are weighing you down from what people are telling you you're not going to do. When people are telling you you're going to be this, there's no other way but this, and that you are going to hell. Like, you're not. It's just simple as that. Like, and you know, and like I said, some of you, this is nonsense. Some of you really understand what I'm saying too. Some of you, this hits differently. And that's what I'm saying. If you believe, you believe. If you believe that concept, you know, that's all it comes down to. And I encourage you to keep that faith so that you could positively hope that good things are coming to you both in this world and after. So then you could really rise up to that level of excellency that you were made for. So that is it. That is your philo. That I just want you to have that reminder. You're not going to hell. All right. And I hope you know it's in love, and I hope all of you love each other, and that's it. And you know, there is the consequences, but at the same time, I mean, I know God is good, and I know some of you are going to take it to a different level once you just take off that future briar. It's just something blocking the vision, the long-term vision, because you don't see it there, but it's there. It's there, that there's more than you think. It doesn't stop there, right? When somebody tells you that, it doesn't stop there because you did something wrong and then you have negative thoughts about yourself and all that. It's not. That's just not what it is. That's just not how God works. That is too human of a standard. And that's not what love is. And you know, and you've seen love here, and you've seen it from people who agree with me and disagree with me, all of that, you know? So, and that's why. So I respect all of you, and thank you too for being here. And thank you for the ones who, you know, you guys, that's why I said some people don't believe in God, but they don't believe what I believe, but they've set a better example. They've shown love. They've accepted people. They've shown love of God without ever loving God. And that's why I say that's where the problem comes into play sometimes, because it's amazing that I see that. And that's why I say, you know, don't get hung up on that. Don't get hung up on the condemnation. All right. So I love you all. That is your philosophy. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We're live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. Drop your thumbs up on the video. You're on mobile. Press hi chat. X out the chat. Hit the thumbs up button. Second link for the Nightly Watch is the main channel. First link for the Scream Alerts Boot Camp and Real Estate course. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Keep it positive and respectful. New guys, don't be too shy to say hi or too high to say shy. We're glad you're here. That is your philo.